There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it,
This looks like a good place to aim from.
a single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel and an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts. The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand, Dio Morteri.
Could be a coincidence, or the same person has visited Land's End and here. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside though. If people live there, they keep it tidy. This here may also be a smoking spot.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window. Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything. The springs screech as you lean on the mattress. Trepidation. A tingling feel. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting, 1 kilometer across the water. A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire, Capeside apartment. The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags, Rue de Saint-Ghislain. The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop. Sunlight.
Do you have a line of sight to the window?
More than that.
A pair of binoculars? Or a scope of a rifle? You'd be prone, lying on a mattress, barrel. I think we have it. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest. Why? We don't go everywhere in a 1,000-meter radius of the crime scene. That's not procedure. Don't beat yourself up, officer. We did not put guns in their hands or get them drunk.
The lieutenant pauses. Regret comes over him.
We will make up for it. Here. I feel it. Where? You think so? We would see them if they... But this island, on the other hand, or she, we should move.
This old cylinder. The lieutenant assists you. There's a red starter switch on the side of the... The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse.
That should do it.
golden glow animates the console. Faint, like a ghost light.
It's on.
Automatic boot. The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in. A sudden wave of anxiety makes your...
After you. So did I. Not back there, but I felt it since we came here. I don't know.
A thin wisp of smoke rises. A dim golden glow animates. With the door open, the lighting in the room turns on with a sizzle. An old man, wearing tracksuit trousers, leans on the frame stock of his... then spits it out into the unclouded by cataracts. His eyesight is sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it's a Triangong.
A samurai rifle.
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid. My eyesight?
A shudder of disgust passes his right side. His left...
I did. And you opened it. Reactionary rock and roll music.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
The fascists were right about rock and roll. You heard me. It's good now, like chalk wiped from the board. Fucking clown.
I should have known they'd send the fucking clowns for me. That was not the right move. You should have... The old man leans on the frame stock.
Fuck.
The old man, in return, pulls his pistol.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy command.
It's a... An old, then unclad. He's practically tearing. A shudder of...
I should have reacted.
Told you we shouldn't play. I did.
We have entered a world where he said you shouldn't. It is the only world.
Sad FM, huh? I always... The fascists were... It's not nice. It's a
A samurai rifle.
It was sent to us by our... You heard me.
The lieutenant turn pull.
You are a glorified night watchman.
It's a... The old man leans on the frame stock of his rifle, looking up at you.
You are a glorified...
It's a good... An old... Then unclad... He's practically
My eyesight?
a shudder of this...
I did. I should react.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
The fascists were right about... It's not. It's a...
A summer.
It was sent to us by... You heard me.
The lieutenant...
You are a glorified...
It's a good line, but your voice slips on, Commander, producing a little squeak. Now that you've acquired some stimulants, it's time for a little pick-me-up. Time to... See? That's your problem. A lack of confidence. Speed, it'll make you into more than that. A mega cop. This is your modus operandi. This is how you've done it for years. It's not ideal, no. But you need the zeal. Let's face it. This is so unprofessional of you. Think you can ignore this? Your moral
You've passed up your chance to start using speed for now, but don't worry. The option to use it...
An old man, then unclad. He's prepped. A shudder.
I should have reacted.
Told you we shouldn't.
We have entered.
The fascists were... It's a...
A summer.
It was sent to us. You...
A shudder of disgust.
You are a glorified...
The words, I am an enemy commander, sound cold as iron from your lungs. The old man still hugs his gun.
And what rank would that be, dog? A big wheel of the 4th Regiment of the Pederast Army. It's out of bullets.
Like an amputated limb in the sand. His gaze follows your motions. The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangon.
No one said it has to be a Bernard grave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily...
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanty Shanty. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does. The right type and the right calibre.
He's liking this. The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of... This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession.
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was a recruit. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologic. 43 years. No. I've been on other islands too. I was an Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E48, a nameless sound, until the 43 years and 10 months. It's not how a human being should live, but I had to.
He just couldn't. He nods, but he can now.
What have you been doing during...
Hiding, fishing.
Where evening comes, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, hydrogen streetlights switch on, casting black shadows. Further inland, the street grid appears dark. 2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean, patrol officer Judith Minot points west. The fishing village. The officers go, leaving behind the writing, still smoldering. One day,
Always waiting for her to return.
Her who?
Girl child, revolution. Always. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore.
what has he done? Perhaps a confession would lighten the load.
Yes, what? To get things going again? Fan the flame?
There is no flame to fan. There is nothing left of the world, of our dreams. I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. A second is all it took for reaction to take hold. Petty bourgeois terror, it's in all men. May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like the combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. Huddled on the floor, the artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said,
A terrible shame, still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of...
I ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers underground, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened of the ordnance all night and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring. Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was... They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and and then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see that the bourgeois are not human. I had to fight it. I had to never stop. It's not an island, what? It's a defensive fortification of the commune of the congenitally deformed King Philip II. Built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA. Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone. Sure you are. You're RCM. Answer me. Who calls an operation against 50 million people Deathblow? You don't know. You haven't seen it. Iblis. The black-eyed angel. How does anyone survive? Supplies, vegetables, collect rainwater.
How is your health, Mr.
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like
The RCM can provide medical services.
I need to die. You don't have
You also have Drouamine.
I have been running out of that stuff.
There's no way he could manage the pain without them. It's safe to say he is addicted to pain.
It's the little joys. The dark joke, a sunshiny day, morphine. There's nothing to look over. The triage is in. I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. I don't even know what. Inferno?
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those blood.
There were posters.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov, and others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking.
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right? Useless now.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights, ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit. The propaganda bunker.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go. I do. They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last century.
An old man looks inland at the city.
You're with the RCF. The coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. A so-called Lieutenant W. Freighter. You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International. The enemies of humanity who took this city. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time?
He just wipes the blood from his chin.
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class. No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I've been trained in historical materialism.
The old man does.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the Commune.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution.
Awakened from shutdown by the he was like a cleric, a shepherd.
No, the opposite of that. A future human, not a human of the past.
He nods slowly, then another tremor.
You're inert lumpen with a...
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology. We have come to ask questions.
The old man spits into the fire pit. There's definitely something off with his body. Something more than...
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce. I've used it.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The...
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want them? I've used it.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never.
This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt. This is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin, Jack. Going straight. No euphemisms. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal. Nothing. comes to you. And in them, a chill, like electricity running up your spine.
All is not as it seems.
Detective.
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it. You're in.
Oh yes, that one.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune.
The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof. There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. And Maybells on and nowhere else. Nowhere in all of... Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up. You got it. Remember? The boot prints were like... Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
Damn Maybells. The whole island.
He seems tender suddenly.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles.
The coast, too, before they pile their containers on top of it.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball work?
I may. Classic.
He repeats the name with care, as if it were at risk of breaking.
With the victim.
Almost, but you need one more. Just one.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand?
Show me the souls, please, Mr. Drost.
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is called Sansarique, and the size is...
The size fits, but not the soul.
Simpler? No. This is another loose thread. The lieutenant raises his... What are you doing? He's thinking. Not now. Stop yourself.
People change shoes, detective. It was you. You were there, weren't you? What were you doing? Some kind of reconnaissance?
Trying to rack your brains. You're desperate to report something back to...
The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around. More. He's gonna crack. But you need a little more.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when...
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long... You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long.
I'm ready to die.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Leave no stone unturned. Get him on what...
Not a lot of guns around that use...
It's a real gun. Not you look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons?
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? 4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this.
Murder. You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood. Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I got your attention. Now you stop eating druggies and prostitutes in your basement.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in
The lieutenant raises his right arm. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death. And that's nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
And you were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The old man.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
I don't understand. Do you, detective?
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle?
A rifle scope has...
Helps him see all the...
And if you don't like it, then you pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it.
Start with when he first saw him. It will give him a chance to ramble.
3 weeks ago, when the rich hag came in on her galley.
Joyce. He means Joyce.
Wrinkled up whore. Lack sexual morals are a bourgeois ploy. As to pederast, so don't you sermonize me, you racist shithole. It's still bourgeois when the bourgeois...
Some strange glandular process takes place in him at the thought. Like yeast. And anger, too. In addition...
They moved into a deserted apartment above the roundabout. Radio equipment. I've seen their kind during the landing. Those Occidental and messed phalanx were barely alive. They like to kill while they're on their drugs. After the landing, in the burning years, I would take shots at them. End them. The worst ones, if I had a bullet to spare. I could see they've returned now to show their real face. The face they don't dare show their bourgeois voters back on Mundi with their families and polyester clothes. Them fucking. I didn't like that. Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth.
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her covered in, to punish her.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
You stare at them too. In your mind, her innocence day still turns to leaf, airport bag in hand, silks flowing in her wake. See you tomorrow, Harry. Her voice rings in the evening air, burning.
The world is insane. There's
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly.
Man needs to feel something else. It helps if you have your eye on something there. Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something. No, I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying like a child in the corner the day after I killed him. Yes, I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
Neither does he. He lowers his in the silence. The one more down.
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark.
Past the Fell building on the coast?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She could...
And beautiful.
That.
How could you see what she looked like?
The sun came up. Her hair was like cobwebs. She smoked more. Her passport and tickets to Villiers. Yes, after she'd gone.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks. And I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revachol's the cloak.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo. And glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this. I'm not blind, am I?
It quickly comes to you.
Mm-hmm. Bending like a bow against the glass. I've been through all of Martinez. Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she did. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me.
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of one more loose end down.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an anti-social.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen.
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't...
One more thing. The flowers, Mr. Dross.
What about them?
There, he's already admitted to it. Just ask.
I did. I shouldn't have. I was there one night and she was crying like a child in the corner of the day after I killed him. Yes.
It's as if something put the thought there to leave the flowers.
What do you mean, put?
A brief flash of terror.
Maybe. I told you. I have holes in my brain now.
A sudden pang.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have...
In the silence, the lieutenant, one more down.
her.
The lieutenant nods at you. That's it. Motive.
Where is she? That Clasier. I haven't seen her there for days. I know she's gone. Locked up or on the run. Like she knew I was here.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, snow falls on 40-story towers. Above them, Elysium Central Aerodrome. A cocoon on the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still she smiles among the crowd. Smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandelier. There, on a dilapidated jetty, in a nameless village, 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. The ruins of a seafort stick out of the water. He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Special consultant Heidelstein is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
You could get more out of him. Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes. Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do and pump full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race. Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more intense, like animals. Like the worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now, her gun tucked. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's every morning he's there. While the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozone or Quayan. That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even we did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until, in the 30s, those disco.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical
horse. Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the...
disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union.
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to...
Edgar.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base.
He's been sweet-talked by this Edgar. They must have met in person for such animosity to have developed.
You can't live alone.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing
Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
I haven't approached anyone. I hid.
How did he know you were...
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the... I was right about one of those things. 20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then. Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. offered me blank, let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat?
Again? What have you done?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They did.
okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them. But he's insinuating something.
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands. That one.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off.
He whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on me.
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trick.
Save the treat for later?
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one. For him. Haven't seen him.
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
No. I waited too long. I waited too...
I'm sorry, Mr. Dras. I understand you...
They're all dead now. Fuck it. All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode.
He reminded him of himself. The same hatred. The same. You tried to think of something else, but no.
Fuck you. You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days.
Glad we talked about what? I ain't going.
The old man stares. His lip curls into a snare at the memory. The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. He acknowledges it. Here we go.
That bourgeois cow, Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder. And
Bordering on sentimentality, it drips out of him. tempered by something familiar to you. A familiar...
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had her called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like...
No, that's not quite...
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally.
No, I guess it was not. She couldn't make the call.
Here it is, the bend in the river.
Because she was...
Just say nothing.
The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal grasping her tit. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was, heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who... Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory...
Another big spike of rage.
Nothing changed. Not in the material base. Not in the hedge of...
Edgar didn't keep his part of... If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk. We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even...
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My...
Come on, just a little. You're buddies.
I haven't lived and fought for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up. For
the same old freezing hatred. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody, and the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
Glad we talked about what?
The old man stares despondently. The old man stares despondently. What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated. It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. Great leaps of emotion, from anger to grief, despair. You've seen demented people before. This feels... Is it some kind of substance damage? Like he's addicted to something? Not only the painkillers he's clearly on. Perhaps, but his seems more than that. The inner turmoil takes unexpected turns, as if forced on him in a way. summary, you sense some underlying neurological disorder.
No. I won't be stuffed full of shit like...
You said you take painkillers.
I take them to cope with pain. The people of this city...
He is indeed very lucid. It's not a downer, rather an upper, judging by his snaps.
Like some kind of decadent rock star. No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded...
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of... Could it be a symptom of overdosing on something? Something even you have not tried? Keep your eyes peeled.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrolled. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given... Do you
What? No, I don't want to. I have to...
He's sweating. Pupils are dilated too.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
There it is again. To your north, as it has something completely different. It's...
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat. What?
What are you talking about? Is...
Your skin crawls. A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its...
What are you talking about? There's nothing...
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you, with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you, and your gun hand move to your holster, but you don't have a gun.
Tell me what you see, damn it.
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly.
Be very, very careful.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head. The segmented antennae move with apprehension. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves, the hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch. You smell...
It is.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open.
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade. I am not palatable. Do not eat me. I am afraid. With the sound of metal sliding, you see the phasmid turn to him. Its mandible and...
The ampoule will produce a loud hiss. You're right. It could scare it away. And
I'll wait. I'm on standby. The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air. slowly. The creature, the reed, the hisses,
It is.
you glance.
We need.
From the I am not palatable.
I won't be one of those.
You see the phasmid turn to him, its mandible antennae reaching out.
I don't think the pheromone will do anything.
The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air. Slowly, slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps, like laughter. A salt sweat drips from your brow. So, hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its suddenly, there is silence. No, stop. Be afraid. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independently, shifting around in the reeds around it. In the muddy water, you notice some of its hind legs apparently standing on the water. No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth. You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip.
Careful. It may be poison.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts.
I exist. Tell me what it's like for you. Then I will tell you what it's like for me. What is your illness? I am not. There isn't even a central nervous system. Now I will tell you how it is for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations, a swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of me. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. Are you sure? Sometimes, when molting, I will grow a lost limb. One time something went wrong, and a small leg replaced a missing antenna. Yes, the leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk. Yes, thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molded, I grew. So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect? Yes, no one detected me for such a long time. For thousands, no one believed I exist. Almost no one. Until you came, detective. Dripping of blood that smells like strawberries. Across the No, you're awake. I am real. Light is... Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily. I think we should eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your...
Wait, so...
Yes, they don't mind. Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulindian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight.
It may have unknown, dangerous biochemical characteristics that
And went unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Yes, I do not have a starter display, so I use a neurodegenerative element to aid in camouflage. Do not worry.
the deserter, he's been here for a long time.
No. You, the moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you were extreme. The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radial is symmetric. It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out. We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago. Or not, everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if he misplaces us all one day, or just forget? Please be. Or one day, one of you will close your eyes and sign, and open them.
It doesn't look like that, no. You're just staring at it. Okay. Is it somehow related to the case? I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species.
No, there is one more. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. You cannot lie to me. Behind you, it smells of fires. So awfully far you were prepared to go in her presence. She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Okay.
There is no change in the insect's motion.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward
I got it.
for all time. The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. The sensation is electrifying. It is surprisingly delicate. The curly looks like someone's got hurt in a fight. This,
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
you were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you it tastes like sugar. Very faint, odorless, mostly comprised of water. The limb before you is incredibly light. Like, warning! A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening. Wave, another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing. As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface. And just like that, it's gone. And something under it. In the place it stood, Bobby...
It's gone. Looks like a nest of some sort. Apparently, yeah.
What now?
in some kind of strain.
Our suspect is not looking so good.
What is it? What do you want from me? See.
Mr. Drost?
The man does not respond. He, with fear, like an addict of some terrible substance. A light shiver.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility.
The trembling mouth.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be old age and shock. Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid, the combined stress.
There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke.
That could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here.
No response.
Then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time... Mr. Dross, the doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. He was energetic and articulate. After all these years alone, with little hygiene or medication, it does not seem to be animated now it's left. Honestly, I'm ready to believe anything. I mean, why not? It's 3 meters tall. Like a drug? His pupils appear to be dilated. Distilled.
It's not just chemical.
Some kind of oxytocin release mechanism? Would go with the pupils. But this is way... Told you? Yes, good. During your long staring match. I understand. He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place. And the insect, maybe. I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo. We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help.
greasy old...
Maybe it's better to get back to the mainland.
The skiff is swaying on the way.
Let's. We are done here.
The skiff rocks gently, but for the sound of conversation on the water. There is 2 men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a name. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Look what the tide brought him. What is that? Full AC? What's with all the performance gear?
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen.
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstein. I believe we've met on several...
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or special consultant Trent Heilerstein.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off.
Lieutenant Kim Kisoragi, Prison 57.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify,
We might need your help with something later.
as if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you. Bothered by it? Harry, you're a goddamn cop. They're afraid of you. Actually, are you? Are you still a cop?
Vic, calm down. Ari, we want to help you. Tron?
This is the horse-faced woman. I don't know why you named her that, but it was beyond idiotic. You should...
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a...
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets.
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went. Speaking of which, the giant aerograffito in front of the building. The one that's burning. I knew it. Didn't I tell you?
The line is from Lu Jiatun's Mirova 82, isn't it? About girl-child communism, the titular returning character to ghostly apparition of...
Don't encourage him, Tron.
Okay.
Guilty as charged. I heard you'd lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if you... And it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now.
He was too sarcastic for you to realize who he was.
I'm clinically depressed, Harry. Sorry if I wasn't in the mood to batter you up after you told us to fuck off. Did you? Or did you literally not recognize my face? We've been part...
Judging by the familiarity you feel toward him, 2 years minimum? Or maybe... He's right. Don't start guessing. Now's not a good time.
It's okay. I didn't come here to gloat or to fool you.
That's right. Worried. I'm always worried about you. You're a worry fest. She's worried about you. I'm worried about you. Even Special Consultant Backpedal is worried about you. Everyone worries. Instead of working.
Yes, I'm Trant Heilerstein. I never said I wasn't Trant Heilerstein. Mikhail? Mikhail's my son. No, I was just interested in the Feld building and the Martinez beachhead. And Mikhail wanted to see Martinez. It was a coincidence.
Him being there with his son, it was not a coincidence. It's difficult to see, but he was worried about you. And also interested in the Feld building.
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in König.
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on. God damn it, Harry. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All will burn. Detect or die. Oh, you think it was cool you saying that? Aesthetic somehow? You were crying when we got here. Breaking things. None of us wanted to see the abyss. So we fucked off. Yeah, Major Crimes Unit. Under Lieutenant, refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit.
Technically...
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show. Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officers do. It's a Major Crimes Unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are...
The 41st isn't...
Yes, I'm Trant Heilerstein. What indeed?
He's here to see if you're insane. The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant.
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Psychotraumatic amnesia, Trant? I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Oh, I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before. Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was...
The two cases in your ledger. Those cases were hard.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Look at the ruins, the neon, listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for its end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major...
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
No one even mentioned that. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body?
They can keep that pension. You're rock solid. You can...
Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here. Yeah, just stand there. It's cool. No, now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? Ha ha ha. Ho ho ho. Tequila sunset. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of my payslip. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic. You juggle the badge for a second. Ouch! You strained your elbow.
He found it. He found it, Jean.
And your gun?
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements.
Upgraded it. I don't care about your weapon mania, Harry. I don't care. Where is the gun the RCM gave you? I knew it.
This isn't cause for
Oh, I would say it's very bad. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Please, put the stolen rifle away before you kill someone. So you forgot to drink? I don't buy.
He's wounded. It's been a long week and he's handled an actual corpse.
What you've discovered? You let the suspect escape.
We've read the report, Sari. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Oh, well, if you let her go. And all the fact that you're Everclear's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing compared to the 7 people who were gunned down. The streets are literally red with blood.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them.
Here comes the cavalry.
He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been. Stop being sorry for 5 minutes.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation. You've spent the week with him, on this case.
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffrey Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although...
See?
1 week.
Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar, though it's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Mazovian socio-economist.
You should yell something. Yes, let's let...
And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, and the constant smoking everywhere. He can talk human beings into telling him everything. And he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke. Which, by the way, I have to disagree with you.
Okay, he did some...
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murder.
A
colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reed.
He takes out the photo and shows it. You hear gasps beneath the howling of...
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected to the case?
Detective? The old man was not aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its happened.
So it is...
I must say, this is absolutely...
Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
this is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open.
And eyes, too.
Understood.
But a case against Everard.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality. Lilianovich, a revolutionary matronym. The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms: Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed.
So, it is what a soldier of the...
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of code.
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
And it worked?
Yes, until we stopped it. He saw the mercenary as an ennemi combatant. There's plenty for prosecution to pick from. Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the...
It's a clean win.
It's way more than that.
That's not how personal relationships work, Harry. You found a straggler, the first since the 30s, kudos. But that doesn't hide the smell of booze on the wing either.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It will pass in time.
Female?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female. And
Incredible. Were there eggs in it?
not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
As in cloning itself? What makes you think so? Interesting. Then it is especially vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the entire species.
In his mind, he's already planning a nature reserve and knows it.
Yes. That would be a chiromone. A pheromone that's seemingly beneficial to... There are species of bees that, under the influence of chiromones, take wasp larvae to their hives. Ants do the same with aphids, thinking they're...
Nothing is off the table. But I want to stress this. The find does not have to be connected to the...
Of course, Lieutenant. Of course. We should treat the case and the phasmid as completely separate from each other.
They're not going to go for this speculation in the constabulary.
Yes, but also reed-colored. Beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts.
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species.
This would really help with some of the problems we've been having.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest. You know, it's a really good...
Without it,
You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment. Quit while you're ahead? Or no?
yes. Fallen through a gap in a boat.
The body was transported to Precinct 41.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry.
Still, good work.
It's still a point for you. No denying it.
I don't know what a doomed commercial area is. Why? That's...
There was a fridge we needed and a possible witness. It was just chasing a lead.
Of course. Call it.
Dodged the bullet there. For a moment, it seemed like you were just wasting time.
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to. Jude,
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is...
okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the
Now you will finally get to know who you are. The man looks westward, impatiently. Jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry. Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher, eh?
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your love of retro-style dance music, how you're...
Also, this guy. Just everything about this guy.
In your 20s or late 20s, you've really let yourself go since then. Yes, you taught gym in Coron. I believe that's the term. Taught gym at a high...
The smell of sweat and glue.
High school. Harry, your goings-on with Kuno, Andre, Acel, the whole...
His smirk suggests barely contained laughter.
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries, and incredible hope. An ocean full of hope.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's a...
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
You really went with it too. Really maximized the damage.
Yeah. Dora Engelund, I think.
Not Dora Dubois.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol. God, I don't know. 6 years ago, she was way before my time.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah. Or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Engelund really tore you a new one. Incredibly bangable. She was extremely fuckable, Harry. Gorgeous. A gorgeous bourgeois woman.
Heartbreak, Welkin. Pain, Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was.
Look, the sun is going down. It's...
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and my point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees order. Is there something...
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
No. You're too unstable to work for my boss. You're suicidal.
I assure you, I wouldn't consult for it.
I told you it's not that bad.
Us? With the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? With the bad guy.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You're just understaffed. And everyone
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Get back to it. We left Torson and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not Mac the Torso Torson and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a...
God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task force. It was a mistake.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me. Other losers too.
He's anything but a loser, although he would like to be seen as one.
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the...
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the fort.
Somewhere under the curved roof of a former silk factory, shaped like a ladybird, they speak of change, the city, the tension on the streets. They speak of the events of April and the...
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a...
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now. You...
He means it. The RCM and its enemies will not. Your clearance will not go up while you're within it.
Okay, it's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with great...
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Rivershore.
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the district.
Thank you again, Lieutenant. Who is Lena? Well, good luck.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the fast. They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver.
She is going to be over the moon. Watch out, or she'll faint.
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate. Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two. Work with Price? I'm flattered.
Would fit in. Am crazy enough. Can take the stress. This truly came as a surprise to him.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be...
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock...
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant.
I do like the sound of that.
He's really considering it.
Good.
Fuck it, let's go. Tronprod is Marke.
Under the night sky, the great district sleeps. A dark chessboard of wooden houses in the rain. 80,000. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmere? Yes. Dubois? Of course. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomac Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll...
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?